Alright, so welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful and exciting tutorial, we're trying to see how to do load testing for a web application. Specifically, we're trying to see how to do load testing for Streamlit apps, right? Okay, this is going to be very, very basic. So load testing is a situation in which you build a web application. It can be Flask, it can be Streamlit, Express, Node.js, Django. And then you want to know how performant your app is going to be, what is going to be the response time when it is used by not just one user or 3 users, but multiple users at the same time, right? So in case you are designing your app or developing your app, you, the developer here, you may have no idea of how many people will be using your app, right? So how do you simulate the occurrence of multiple users, right, on your app to see how performant your app is going to be? So there are several tools you can use. So some of them include JMeter, which is JavaScript, which is Java, we have cases, we have Locust, and then these are the rest. But in this wonderful tutorial, we're trying to see how to work with Locust, right? Perfect. So load testing simply means that you're trying to test the performance and the response time of a web application when being used by multiple concurrent users, not just one user, but multiple users. So let's see how to do that. So we're going to design a simple app with Streamlit, and we're going to see how to use Locust to do load testing on it. So I'll just go back again to my workspace here, and this is my app, right? So I'm going to open this particular app, so Sublime. This is the app that you're working on. It's a very simple basic app, which is having the home page and about page and some simple data frame that you can download. So let's run the app. So Streamlit, run app.py. Perfect. So how do you simulate not just one user, but multiple users on your app? So that's what we're trying to do. So one simple shout out, I have some courses that you can also check out in case you are a fan of Streamlit. So you can check this app on this course on Udemy. So learn Streamlit, right? It's very, very exciting course, right? Which you can check out how to create beautiful data apps. Of course, the other materials you can also check them out. Also, there's also a very nice book by Tyler Richards on getting started with Streamlit for data science, which I'll place a link below that you can also check and then explore more about Streamlit. Okay, so let's go back. Too much of the shout out. Let's go back again to the app, right? So the app is already opening. I'm going to open this particular app, my Streamlit app. Go back to my browser. Let's use this particular place, and let's take off this. Right. Perfect. So this is the app, right? The app is working perfectly. So how do you do load testing for this simple app that you have built? So this is a simple app. So in case I pass 10 here, and I'm going to automatically generate 100 random values, as you can see, I can actually download it as a CSV, right? See, there's a result being downloaded. Okay, so let's do load. So let's do load testing on this simple app, right? So to do simple load testing, I just go back again to the place that I was working. This is the app. I'm going to create another file. I'm going to call this particular file as my load test app, right? So the same place that I have, let's call that as Locust file. You can give it any name, so Locust file.py. And then you need to be able to work. In order to be able to work with Locust, you have to install it. So I just go back again here. I'm going to install it. So Locust is a Python file, Python package. So pip install Locust in case you don't have it on your system. So that is how to install it on your system. Perfect. If I check it out, we have my Locust file here. There's nothing there. So I come back again. Then I'm just going to import it. So from Locust, import. These are the most important things. So we have HTTP user. This is very, very important, which is going to be used to simulate your users. We also have our tags, it's going to tell us which endpoint to run, and we also have our between. So the between is going to tell us how many times you wait between users, right? Very simple. Then let's create the simplest way. Let's create a simple class. It can be any name, so I can call it as my app user, right? Or it can be app start user, app user, right? And this is going to inherit from the HTTP user, so HTTP user, right? So this is very, very important. So this is going to inherit from the HTTP user, which I'm extending. I'm going to specify the wait time. So I'm using the between. So wait between the users, let's say 2 to let's say 5 seconds, right? Perfect. Then I'm going to specify what I want to do. So this is going to be my tags, the decorator. Then I'm going to give it a function which is going to be the endpoint. So this is going to be like the endpoint, endpoint that I want to test, right? So your app can have several endpoints or several parts of the app. So let's give it my home page, right? Then I'm going to inherit self. Then I'm going to say that, okay, self.client. This is very important. So this self.client is coming from this HTTP user, right? Very simple. Then I'm just going to go with the endpoint. So it can be get, it can be post in case you are doing post, it can be put in case you are doing a put. All the HTTP methods are available. Okay, I'm going to specify the endpoint. So the endpoint here is this particular endpoint one. That is the main endpoint. Perfect. That is all, right? This Streamlit, you are doing something very basic. Perfect. That is all that we need. So now let's see how to run it. So make sure that your app is also running. So my Streamlit app is running, as you can see here. And then I also want to be able to run my Locust file. So the simplest way is just go with this. So Locust, it is there. So Locust -f, then the name of the file, locust.py file. So by default, if I run this, it's going to open a local port for us, which is this particular port. I'll copy this, come back again to my browser, making sure that the old app is working. I'll paste it here, 8089, right? Going to open my Locust GUI, right? Now this is the number of users, only one, so I can specify, let's say I want to just get 10 concurrent users. Then I must specify the span rate, you can leave it like that, and the host. So this is very important. So this is going to be the host URL, which is this particular URL here that is running, right? So I'll copy this Streamlit and I'll paste it here, right? Make sure that there's no backslash. If there's a backslash, that means that's going to give us failed, right? So perfect. Now let's start swarming. So it's going to start with what, 10 concurrent users. As you can see, so it's 4, 5, and then like that, right? So this is going to be the statistics, the request, the percentile, the average response time, and the minimum response time. If there are fails, you are going to see the fails here. If I go back to the chat, it is very important. With the chat, you can see the app running, right? So the total request per second. The pink one is the fails. There are no fails. As you can see, there are no fails. And the response time is that it is working perfectly well. If I scroll down, we have our response time, right? And the number of users. So we started from 0, then we went to 10 here. So as the number of users are still 10, you can see that our response time is still the same. The median response time is still the same, right? It's not showing any lag within the performance, right? The percentile is also going up and down, but the response time is still the same, right? If it's 10, I can come back again. Let's bring this one down. Let me shut myself down. I can stop it, and I can also edit a certain new test, right? New test. Let's change the number of users to 100 and start again. Now this is going to be 100 users, right? So it's automatically going to start from 13 users, as you can see. It's going to 16. It's going to move from that place to 100, right? So as it's running, as the number of users are increasing, we are checking the response time, right? And it's still the same thing. As the number is increasing, the median response time is still the same. So our app is actually performant, right? It's not lagging behind, right? There's a slice percentile increase and down, going up and down, but the green one, the median response time, is almost the same. And that our app is responding well. So just move from 10 to 100 and the app is moving on well, right? There are no failures in our app. Everything is moving on well perfectly. So that is how to work with it. So after that, you can actually come back again and check if there are failures. There are no failures. You can also check if there are exceptions. There are no exceptions, and you can also download the data here as a CSV file as you wish, or download the report. In case you don't want it, you can just stop it here and you can start a new test. That is how to do load testing for your Streamlit app, right? For now, that is the basic way. Now the other alternative is, just go back again. This is the first alternative using this option here. The next alternative is that you can also specify the number of users from the beginning. So let's get out of this place. The app is still running, right? And in case I want to specify the number of users, I can just go with locust -f, then the name of the file. Then I'll specify the host. So the host is going to be the host of the Streamlit app that is running, which is this app here. I'll copy this as my host, right? And I can also specify the number of users. So let's reduce it, right? So let's specify the number of users. Let's say 200 users at the same time. Then I can also specify the span rate. Span rate which can be, let's say, 2, right? Or you can just leave the span rate without specifying it. Any of them is going to work. So if I run it like that, it's also automatically going to pick this particular file and open this particular host, right? So the same endpoint, 8089. Come back, it's already opening. So you see that by default you have a number of users 200, the span rate this, and then the host, right? So this is what we specified here, right? Perfect. That's another way of also working on it. If I come back here and I start swarming, it's going to generate 200 users from scratch. This is the number of requests being made. There are no fails, as you can see. If I go back to the chat, sorry for it being small. So this is the number of users. There are no fails. The response time is going up. There are no fails. Then you can see that the number of users started from 0. It just went up to 9 users. It's going up. It's going up, right? So as it's going up, the response time is still the same. It's not lagging behind, right? Although the median percentile is increasing up, which is how it's supposed to be, but the response time is still the same, right? This is very important, right? If this one changes, moves dynamic, that the app is losing its performance, right? Very, very cool. Perfect. So thank you for watching this tutorial. In case you have any question or contribution, you can just put it in the comment section below. Let's try and see how to work with a failure, right? I'm going to try and stop it, and let's see how the failures work. So I'll go back to new test. I'm going to actually make a mistake here, put / here, start, right? And let's see. So I'm going to start it. 58. You see that now it automatically have a failure because it's not getting this particular endpoint, right? That is why it's giving us this particular failure. So if I go back to the chat, you can see that there is a failure here. So in case there is a failure at the endpoint, you're able to see it inside the chat or inside our failures option here, right? Very simple. This is a self-generated failure, right? So thank you for watching this tutorial. In case you have any question or contribution, you can also put it in the comment section below, and then check the link below for some interesting materials on Streamlit, and check Tyler's book on getting started with Streamlit, as well as some of the courses on Udemy, Learn Streamlit Python. And of course, the other courses, it's having a lot of courses. You can also check all of these things there. So thank you. See you another time. Stay blessed.